We'll start this again on Blog TV. My guest is Joewhitewolf, and we just lost a constitutional sheriff, Larry Deaver, that I promoted, and I had the Cochise County motorcycle run. Larry Deaver, I promoted him, and now he's dead in a car accident, supposedly. But let's see, that's how they almost got me, was a motorcycle accident. A car, tapped my phone, knew where I was going to be. And, all right. Joewhitewolf is with Timothy Bible College, and we are recording again. All right. Joe, again, you've been in prison ministries.
Yes, sir.
You've been in prison, as I have.
Yes, sir.
And, I still don't view that as that much of a negative.
No.
Because I got a year and a half to sit down and write novels that I'm, still editing. I'm still working on that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I will probably make more money from that time I spent in prison than I've made out here since.
I don't take any kind of money from anybody for any works, any ministries. I refuse to take that money. I think that Timothy Bible College is a great way in these hard times to find family and friends, get people educated. I got my bachelor's degree in ministry and music through Timothy Bible College. And I will tell you this, when my daughter was 16 years old, the school system told her to dumb herself down and be like all the other kids. She had a very high IQ. So, after going into the court system where they accused her of skipping school, she was depressed one day when we thought our son was killed on the front lines in Afghanistan, and took a little time to pray, and they nabbed her. I had to go to court, and I saw those moms and dads crying. They were broke, giving high fines and jail time for failures to comply, and parenting classes and probation officers, and it's just awful the way they take control. The rafters are full of people now that the courts are extracting money for all kinds of reasons, and these people with Timothy Bible College, I have to thank them. My daughter, in 2 years, she left at the age of 16 and went into college immediately with her high school diploma. By the time she was 18, she was working on her business degree. She speaks 3 languages, and I'm very proud of her today.
And your son too. I mean, he's a sergeant, and served over in Afghanistan, and he graduated from Timothy Bible College too, didn't he?
And Iraq. He has in many ways with Jake, not on paper, but in study. And I'm very proud of everybody at Timothy Bible College. I have no negatives about them, just totally good people. And I wanted to touch on divide and conquer a little bit, because we get into, Americans, you call yourself a Republican or a Democrat, and I want you to really think about something. We've come a time in our greedy world where it's basically the Carlucci's and the Gambinos. And when you label yourself as a Democrat or a Republican, you block out everybody else. I don't care if they're libertarians or just good people that might have a better way to do things. And by becoming a Democrat or Republican, sometimes they're going to do bad things, and because you claim to be them, you have to go along with it. So you're harming more than you are helping. I just wish we could look at what's righteous in life, be truthful, forget about all this scam and all this revenue generation, and just get back to the basics of what a true American is. And I don't think they're really called terrorists.
No, but that's why they're trying to point us. I mean, that's what they did back in Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
The BATF had their offices in the federal building.
Sure.
And the week before, the New Albuquerque newspaper had it out that they were up over at White Sands Missile Range practicing with ANFO bombs. They were blowing up vehicles, blowing up trucks out at White Sands in my neighborhood. That's where I lived at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good thing that they did that, because one of the agents was standing across the street, watched the building came down, watched the bomb blow it up, and was able to call Dallas and tell them what kind of bomb it was. And not one BATF agent. Now, this is the same agency that raided Waco and killed 17-year-old children to save them from a child molester, that operated in Fast and Furious and made sure they did drug dealers from their buddy CIA. And the drug cartels are working with the CIA. You've mentioned one thing that I've been telling people for years. There's a couple of things I can't tell you. I can't tell you if the government took over the mafia or if the mafia took over the government. I can't tell you whether the government controls the press or whether the press controls the government. It's 6 of one and half a dozen of other. It's two wings of the same bird, and they want you to fight over whether. Well, should we let doctors kill children? You know, before they're born, or right after? You know, something that time period there. That's probably a little bit flexible in the communist handbook, but they've actually killed more Americans, unborn Americans, than they killed in the Soviet Union with the Bolshevik Revolution.
You know, if people do the homework, let's go back to Hitler when he burned his Reichstag and he blamed it on the people to get control of them.
Yes.
You see, our Twin Towers was the burning of the Reichstag because we lost all of our power, our freedom, all of our rights in the name of terrorism. Police got more power, more money, more control, and they love this. And the TSA and everybody that's expanding now, and Big Brother, we're shrinking. And it's a dog-eat-dog world of revenue-generating laws and incarcerations, and people are suffering so bad right now. I just wish it would all stop. Oklahoma bombing, we know for a fact it was blown from the inside out because masters in this division retired from war went and they did the research. There was debris scattered 6 blocks out. Those windows were blown out.
And there was a tree standing right beside the truck where the truck was parked that didn't get blown over.
Right. 75 yards away, there were 10-inch columns snapped in half from that truck. It's impossible. No way.
No.
And, you know, you look at...
there was also a woman in the basement that I interviewed that stated she saw people putting plastic modeling clay, she thought it was, on the pillars in the garage.
And, you know, you look back at Pearl Harbor. They shut down the coding machines and they let those enemies come in there and do that. It was to get the people behind this agency, this New World Division trying to start up.
Right.
And they failed. And they failed in Oklahoma. So they decided to do 9/11. But I want people to look at Building 7, Clay. No one knows what Building 7 was. Do you realize 3 buildings went down that day? Building 7, if you go to YouTube, you can watch Building 7 collapse. And what happens is, it shows the building being demoed with explosions, falling to the ground, charges, and then the owner of the Twin Towers gets on there and says that they pulled the building down.
We've had such a terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. The New York Fire Department made that decision to pull it, and we watched the building collapse. Larry Silverstein, September 2002. Now, the question is, I put on March 2004 issue, this is the issue that almost got me killed. The question is, did they decide to pull the towers, Twin Towers 2?
Well, here's the deal. George Bush's brother was in charge of security of that building.
Marvin
Bush. They had renovations and they were evacuated. And so during the evacuation time, the people that were allegedly doing these renovations put those bombs in. That takes a lot of technology, okay? When Building 7 went down, and he admitted that they pulled it, that means he's admitting they put all those bombs in Building 7 that made it come down. So don't look at the Twin Towers first. Look at Building 7 first, then look at the Twin Towers and say, wait a minute, they fell the same way. And Building 7 never even got hit by planes.
That plane was shot down over Pennsylvania.
Still, Building 7 fell like the Twin Towers.
Right.
It never got hit, and they admitted to putting the bombs in there.
That's right.
If people would just wake up and do the math and then look at the Twin Towers, they would realize they were blown the same.
But they've also really started demonizing the truth seekers, the people that are looking for this.
To shut you up.
To quiet us. You know, what they want is consensus, folks. It's they want you to sit down and shut up and listen to what they tell you. And if you keep your mouth shut, then they count you as being on their side.
And we aren't really terrorists to the people of the United States. If you question conspiracy theories, for example, like Building 7 or Oklahoma, you know what it is. The elite are so scared we're terrorists to them. So when they use the word terrorist, the people of America think that it's terrorists against America, but it's not. It's terrorists against these organizations because they're scared to death. The truth is going to come out. They're going to hang by the highest trees.
That's right. Let's see, isn't treason still a hanging offense?
When you take an oath of office and you want to support and defend the Constitution, and you tell Congress to go to hell, and you go do business with the United Nations and bypass Congress, that's treason.
Well, isn't that exactly what's happened here? Isn't that exactly? Now,
It's
Obama,
a fact.
Obama is perfect. Now, folks, if what we're saying, and what I've been saying for years, in the Free American, the first issue of the Free American in 1994, I said there's a well-documented plan for one world government, and this is it. This is what they're doing. They're taking us into a one world communist government.
Just like Hitler.
Just like Hitler. And it don't matter whether it's communist or communism or fascism, that's two wings of the same bird. Different names for the same type of tyranny. You know, they just want to disguise it. Well, our brand of tyranny is better than their brand. You know, you need to vote Republican. No. Our brand of terrorism is, our attack on terror is better than your. We vote Democrat. And we've spent, you folks out there have sent $500 million to those two parties. I believe if you don't vote for Gary Johnson, if you don't vote Libertarian, if you don't break this cycle, then you're all guilty. And as my friend John Trockman of the militia of Montana said, to hell with them, Clay. They're going to get the government they deserve. You want a communist government? Sit there, keep your mouth shut. Don't support Clay Douglas. Don't support Timothy Bible College, and you will get the government you deserve. Now, what Timothy Bible College is trying to do is educate people. You can go there, and for a fraction of the cost, you can get your high school diploma. You can get your college degrees. You can do this at home. You don't have to go in and support these big, beautiful buildings. You know, you don't have to do that, folks. There is a different way to do it. And part of that, I think, is I talk about Liberty Villages, and that's what we have created right here. Joe is able to do the show with me today because he lives across the street. We got people right here that are capable, that can fix just about anything, and everything is working right here. And if we had an air raid, if we had a drone attack, if we had a storm come by, we've got places of safety. You could do this same thing. You don't have to live in the country. You don't have to, go out and get, like Randy Weaver and get in the mountains and try to hide from them. You can't hide from them. Can't hide from them. They know where you are. They can track you by your cell phones. They can track you by anything that you do. But you can do the Liberty Village concept in your backyard. You can grow food in your backyard. Guy next door, right next door, right here, growing watermelons. Got a slice of watermelon in there that's organic grown, no pesticides. It is friggin' delicious, And I guarantee you, within by next year, we'll have a garden over there with tomatoes and lettuce, and we'll make our own salads, and it'll be good for you. It'll be good for you. Now, you can do that in your neighborhood if you did one thing. If you did one thing, and this is what you can't do because you've been dumbed down by your public fool system. All you need to do is talk to your neighbors and be armed with the truth. Be armed with the truth about 9/11. You can't do anything about 9/11. You can't go back and change it, but you can certainly change your futures and keep these things from happening, because these are all false flag attacks from Pearl Harbor. Now, I had a subscriber. His name was Eden Rainey. And he was there. He was there at Pearl Harbor. I got a picture of the Pearl Harbor taken from a Japanese plane up here on my wall. They were ordered to turn in their ammo the day before Pearl Harbor. They didn't. And the next day, when the raid, they shot down a Japanese plane. It landed on the barracks. Eden Rainey went up and pulled the pilot out of the plane, and found a map showing the location of every ship in there, with one exception. The USS Arizona was docked where the Kitty Hawk was supposed to dock. That's why it got the most bombs. That's why it suffered the most damage. And the Admiral kept the Kitty Hawk out and saved it. Eden Rainey found the map. The next day, they said, whoever found this plane, whoever took this pilot out, you need to return anything that you found right now, or we're shutting the whole base down. We'll lock everybody down and search. So Eden showed up at the officers and turned that in, and they let him live, but he lived to tell me about it. Now, in Vietnam, I volunteered for Vietnam in 1964. I volunteered for Special Forces. I signed up for Special Forces, Airborne. I didn't get it. I didn't go. But there was no Gulf of Tonkin incident. There was no reason for us to bomb those farmers. There was no reason to put Agent Orange on those farmers, on those peasants. And they fought us to a standstill using what I used as a model for Liberty Villages. They went underground into those villages. They supplied their fighters with food, with places to hide. And I think in my fiction books that I've written, I have a future segment where my hero in the 80s is fighting this type of concentration camps and government in a future, at a future date, unspecified. When I wrote that over 10 years ago, I came back and put this future segment in, but that was still over 10 years ago. And there wasn't any concentration camps, so we hadn't paid Halliburton $350 million to build those. Now we have them. So what I wrote as fiction years ago is happening right now.
Speaking of war and right now, I wanted to touch just a little bit. I'm really upset because one individual makes a movie depicting Muhammad as a pedophile and an adulterer, and all of a sudden the Muslim nations across the world start killing people. None of these people being killed wrote that movie. And I would say to the Muslim people, wait a minute. What if Americans in the United States were to be offended with something one Muslim did and attack the whole entire Muslim community of our country? What I'm asking them to do is stop the violence, stop going after people that had nothing to do with one individual's actions. Try to find ground and peace. Let's look at the real picture of who's behind all of everything and try to realize we are all brothers and sisters, and it's not the religion, it's the individuality and the heart.
Well, as I've said in many, many shows here, the Constitution protects you. The Constitution protects you, so you can worship any way you want. You want to go to the temple. You want to get on your knees out there, stick your nose in the dirt and your ass up in the air.
It's all about kindness, faith.
Do what you want. Do what you want. The Constitution protects you that, but you don't have to try to force me to accept your religion. That's where the Muslims are wrong. That's where the Christians are wrong. That's where the Jews are wrong. We don't need to fight each other. We need to abolish the laws against victimless crimes. We need to end the police state. We need more candidates like Gary Johnson that don't care what you do.
I'd like to not really put labels on people running for president. I'd like to just say, Mr. Smith, and this is Mr. Smith's beliefs and what he wants to do. Kind of like what Ron Paul did, but he got demonized and covered. You know, the Gambino and Carlucci's at the top, they control that media, and they make sure people like Gary Johnson or Ron Paul or whoever might change the Gambino and Carlucci group, which would be Romney or Obama. It's all there. Both those people are appointed by the same cartel, and by doing what they've done, we're shut out. So you don't get radio time, and people like you're wanting to see come forth and promote themselves for this country are shut out. They'll never be heard from.
That's what they've tried to do. They also, the tool that they use is demonization. You know, saying something bad about Ron Paul. Ron Paul really typified what I thought the Tea Party was going to be about. And then all of a sudden you got the Tea Party putting Ron Paul down. He's wrong here. No, we need a more Republican bomb Iran type of leadership. We need to, you know, Sarah Palin, Songbird McCain's. Now, by the way, I met John McCain personally. Shook hands with him once. Never do that again. You know, and they threatened me if I wrote the story about what he said. In a presidential race, he was back in Phil Graham, and he said, I said, why are you backing Phil Graham? He voted for NAFTA. Why would you back him? My son's an engineer. I don't care if all the factories move to Mexico. So I put that in my magazine, and I got a call from his office threatening me. I said, you ever threaten me again? I'll print anything I want. This is truth. I heard it. He said it to me. And if you ever threaten me again, I'll run all the letters I've got from all of his fellow prisoners at the Hanoi Hilton.
Well, I would like to see everybody get this divide and conquer issue away. Right now, I think our time window is closing for being united and prepared. If you look at the major issues right now, the whole Middle East is on fire and turmoil. Spain, Greece, Portugal, Rome, they're crashing. These people are living on minimal. And now, the United States, somewhere between 30 and 40% of Americans are on some kind of receivership of government. And I'll tell you what, if we fall into the same conditions as Europe, everybody that might be on some kind of an aid right now, when it's ripped from them, they're going to go into the streets trying to feed their families. I can really see some problems here, and I don't see a way to fix it, and it's factual. We are in debt. We are in a situation where we are divided. We're in a situation where there's homeless. We got 4,000 homeless people in Austin, Texas right now. They're about to be moved out of the city into the outskirts. What are they supposed to do? I mean, you can pick a category, and you can find failure. And I think right now people need to bond together and put all these issues aside and try to put some food and water away. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll guarantee you the banks and law enforcement are going to be running strong. And for every family that falls, they're going to be evicted from their homes during these times.
Yes, they will.
And they will all go to the streets. And then what are they going to do?
We know this is coming, and it's happened. It's happened in South Africa. It's happened in Russia. It happened in Germany.
It's already happening here.
It's happening here, yes.
Unemployment rates are high. Foreclosures are high. The jobless are out there scampering, trying to find some way to feed their families.
And let's see, is the government working for us? Well, they're building roads. They're building roads out there. Oh, I'm sorry. We gave that contract to the Chinese.
Well, it's like our toll roads right here. Spain had a 100-year contract on them. People don't understand. They're paying Spain to drive on our toll roads. A 100-year contract with Spain.
That's these toll roads that are right out here running around Austin, running through Austin.
Yeah, and you know how corrupt it is.
If you go past Farmer, it's a toll there. Last free exit. Farmers are last free exit.
It's like this racetrack. Somebody told me that our Austin City has purchased their own race car, and I think it was done with our money. Number two, you look at all these streets getting new side roads and shoulders put in at the cost of the taxpayers to the people, and if you look at where they are, it's for no other reason than to bring people to the races and revenue generate once again. And the owners of these racetracks and the city council, they want to run their race cars and get all this revenue generation, then they need to stop taxing the people and do it on their own.
It is, now, remember folks, we've got some meetings coming up here. Truth Seekers, go to the Free American. And by the way, all of my donation buttons work. So if you make a donation, $20 donation, you can have your choice of one of my books PDF sent to you immediately. If you like it, then you can get some hard copies. We've got hard copies ordered. We got those in stock. And I'd like to invite you to join us at Brave New Books in Austin, Texas on October 19th. And we'll be talking about a lot of this. We've got new films up. We was just on with Jack McLam. Poor Jack ain't the man he used to be. And I appreciate him putting me on Genesis. But it's there was no interview. It's all right. Go ahead, Clay, is all I really need, you know. But you know what I found in Austin. I mean, when I got out of prison, this is the first place I came, and I liked it then. Although the school of the blind, school of the deaf tried to kill me. I was riding my bicycle in the school of the deaf and hit one of those speed bumps and went down on my head. Some woman showed up. Are you all right? I said, do you have a car with a big trunk? Would you take me home? Don't think I want to ride this bicycle anymore. But I'm glad to be in Austin. The Truth Seekers here has been here for years, and you know, that's we're promoting that. We're going to grow that, and it's I'm looking forward to this next year. Probably the first time. You know, for the last 8 years, I've been working on operating basically on desperation. Desperation, you know, what am I going to do? I lost my job, I lost my income, I lost this, I lost my family, I lost, and you start concentrating on that, and you lose all of the fun and enjoyment in life. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's what's happened to so many. There's a million people out of work.
Well, you know, something else is the illegals coming in. I mean, they're all God's creatures, as we all are. And I look at the jobs here. I lost my job. I can't find any work. I wanted to be like Jesus and be a carpenter when I was young, and it was nice. So I moved down here, and so many people are hiring illegals because it's cheap and they get the jobs done. But it's putting Americans out of work. It's costing millions of dollars in our school systems to take care of those children and feed these people. And now IRS says that they're filling out false tax returns and getting $12,000 on average dollars for each illegal family, and nothing's being done about it. If we can fix this problem, I think some of our jobs could be repaired, and the government could save a lot of money. But, you know, since 9/11, you think the borders should have been closed. Why are they wide open other than to bring the drugs in? I can't figure it out. But there has to be a solution, and I think we need to tighten the borders, really.
Part of it, that's part of what we need to do. You know, from two generals hired by the Department of Agriculture of Texas, stated that the border area down here is a war zone. It's a complete war zone. And that's by design, folks. And that's by design. Okay, where are we at here? We got, well, we still got 15 minutes. We got 15 minutes here. And you know, I want to present a answer here, and to me the answer was, if you got one of the things that the farmers and the ranchers have told me that I've interviewed, we can't get help.